Hi everyone, my name is Jordan, and for this project, I wanted to try and put together a unique resume as a website. It does kind of work around the idea and work off of the idea of our capstone for this program, which I was also working on this semester, but it ended up being more or less kind of a comprehensive website layout of my resume that I had already had put together. So similar to the capstone, the target audience for this website is or are potential future employers. So I tried to keep that in mind and let that influence my decision making. So I wanted it to be a professional layout, but I also wanted to make it unique to me and my personality. I had never really worked with or attempted coding anything to this extent before, so I knew I wouldn't be able to load it with as much information as I could. But so I did make it more simple, but I really also wanted to try and focus on the design elements for the website. But as you can see here in my mock-up, I wanted to try and include some pictures and maybe even a video element while still making sure that the basic content could still be there. Um, in my mock-up, I had it divided out into 4 tabs. I wanted to include a contact page, which would have a content or contact form. But then I knew I kind of wanted to try and divide up the other content between the professional work experience with my educational experience um, with the work that I was able to produce while being in this program, while just kind of including some basic introductory information about me on the homepage. That didn't go quite as planned, as you'll later kind of see in my final layout. I ended up getting a little overwhelmed with the design aspect, so I decided to condense the educational content and split it between my homepage and the professional content. But so switching over, I ended up using the program Brackets, which was a huge learning curve and a bit frustrating at times. It was my first time ever using it, but I'm happy I ended up sticking with it. This live preview feature over here was extremely helpful, and I would constantly be switching back and forth between the screens, even after making just one change, just to see the difference or what it would do. A somewhat kind of go figure moment was I tried splitting my screen between the program and the live preview version. And doing that, I was able to see the changes in real time as I was writing them out instead of switching back and forth. And so it was really great getting to see those changes. It was really similar to the Code Academy setup. Um, but I got to a pretty good place when I decided to enlarge my screen just to see it all together. And that's when I realized that the margins and the content dimensions would not match up to the same way as it was when it was in full screen. So just a bit of a step back, but I thought it was funny looking back at it. Um, that was probably my biggest struggle, or at least what took me the longest, was getting used to and figuring out the box model and working with the float kind of layout method. Um, in figuring out kind of the different margins and positioning to each element, there was a lot of trial and error. Like I said, switching back between the screens just to see what would work and what wouldn't mess up the other elements. But I was able to get to a place that I liked. Um, I uh, I did also struggle a little bit with adding images. Funny enough, or at least there was one image in particular that I had taken of the shelves at the Emporia Public Library, that I thought would just be perfect, and would fit into the design really well. But the file didn't save as a JPEG, and so even though I had tried to convert it, after a while and after multiple attempts, it just had trouble staying compatible, with the program, so I just decided to take it out. Um, but overall, I was able to work through it pretty well and put together CSS. And despite the frustrations, I um, was really happy with kind of what came out of it and what I was able to produce. Um, in the so this is what ended up being my final layout. Here's my home page, I was able to still include the picture of me, but this is where I added my about me information, but also some of that education experience, and just a little quote. As you can see, even from my mock-up, it is way more colorful, and there I've included the background image to just spice it up, and I did add way more color and different fonts too than I had originally planned. Um, and then here is my professional development and experience page. Here is where I also included information about a personal book blog that I have put together with um, a friend and colleague of mine who also graduated from the SLIM program. Um, I put my work experience, my skills, still included my references, but here is where the split happened too, where I included the work that I created while I was in school or in the program. And so stuff that I really was just happy with and I wanted to share. And then the contact page, this is probably the page that really didn't change much at all, from the mock-up. The only thing I worked with was just I utilized the W3 schools resources a lot to play with the layout, of the form, and got to a place where I was pretty happy with it. But this is what I did. And like I said, I am pretty happy with it. In the future, I hope to kind of add some more work to my, sorry, I would like to add some more work, to showcase just what I've been able to do and what I've been able to put together. I would maybe even like to make the secrets in the stacks page blurb into its own page, um, with just all of the content that I would be able to share there. I think that would be really cool. And then I know, so just thinking in terms of the future, I know I saw in some other students' projects that they were able to utilize more of a grid layout, or other different layouts. And I would definitely like to try and explore that as I work with this some more and add to it. Like I said, I was using the W3 schools resources a lot when creating this website. So at one point, after I learned enlarging the screen would mess up all of the margins, um, I tried converting it into, or just using more of the Flexbox model. But just because of time and, life, and for the purpose of this project, it just made more sense to stick with the float layout method, for this assignment in particular. But yes, this is the final product. So thank you guys so much for listening and hope you enjoyed.